It's a shame that we can't show you a better wisteria. I've got one in the greenhouse that's beginning to leaf out, but it's just so early, still so juvenile, it wouldn't really help you all that much. But you should be able to, I hope that after this, we talk about this, that you'll be able to sort of identify wisteria even without foliage. The bark on a mature wisteria, it almost sort of reminds me of like, was it reptile bark, reptile skin of some kind, like a, I don't know, almost like a iguana, some snakes, I guess. You notice how, like, I think I heard Dr. Arnold mention sometime it's kind of like an old man's forearm or whatever, like there's little indentions in there, you know, where the, yeah, it's very sinuous in that way. Okay. But you'll notice that it's got all those different little troughs and things in the bark, and then it's got the platy appearance that gives it sort of a reptile-like look. Okay. And then the buds are also very unique. Okay, so you've got these large, sort of linear, pointed buds that sit right up there on this little. It's on the little shelf. Okay, so you kind of see the buds are raised. They're from the bottom, and they sit up on this shelf and just almost look like a little rocket, you know, ready to go. He mentions that as well. That the shelf almost looks like, because the buds have sort of a reddish tint to them, that the shelf almost looks like the smoke coming out from a rocket. Okay. And then once you get some foliage, it's always a nice soft foliage. It stays soft actually, but it's very pubescent at the very beginning. Okay. And then eventually, actually before the foliage comes out for the most part, you get these pea-like, okay, lilac to blue, some whites. There are a few white cultivars, all right, but these pea-like blooms that occur in these plumes that hang down, so they can be up to, well, they can be at least 6 inches typically, and sometimes hang down as far as a foot or maybe a little bit more. Smell really nice, okay? And then after the blooms begin to sort of play out, or right there in the middle, when the blooms begin to sort of lose their effectiveness, the foliage comes in and makes a nice effect. The only issue with wisteria is that it is extremely vigorous. Okay, much more so than a lot of these other things that we talk about that are bigger. Case in point, I cut this wisteria out of this elm tree. It continues to just wrap its way around. So, what's that?
So it looked like a Tarzan vine. It's so thick.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, we had some pretty big guys out here swinging on this thing. So yeah, absolutely. So, but you notice it still keeps that sinewy look with the reptile-like bark. Okay. Yeah, there's an interesting. I didn't prepare quite well enough to be exactly right up on. Have all my facts completely straight, but I will say that there's an interesting thing that the difference between this Chinese and Japanese wisteria is the way that it climbs, the way that it wraps up a particular. And the way they say that, the reason they say that is they say that once all those plate tectonics shifted and everything, and when the continents were separated, they were in different on different sides of the equator, so they followed a different pattern of the gravity, I suppose. I can't remember which one is which. This is Chinese wisteria.
So one twist clockwise, the other twist counterclockwise.
Exactly, and that's the one way you can tell it.
Okay. So you don't know which one this is?
I think this is Chinese, so I suppose this one, this clockwise. Yeah.